Russia has marked the new year with a fresh wave of attacks on Ukraine. The capital, Kiev, and other cities bore the brunt. Ukraine's defense forces say Moscow fired at least 20 cruise missiles. They also report shooting down nearly 50 armed drones. But there is some good news despite the latest bombardment. Doctors have been delivering babies over the festive season.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Happy New Year.
We are here in one of Kiev's biggest maternity wards. But because of the war, the hospital is almost empty. Before the Russian aggression, up to 25 babies were born here each day.
After war start, we have less deliveries because lots of people left Ukraine. So we can easily imagine it was like less planned pregnancies this time. So we have less deliveries now.
Fewer births and no patients' names on a usually full board. But one room is still busy around the clock, the neonatal intensive care unit. Despite all the care provided to premature babies, another danger looms over them. With the threat of missile or drone strikes, it would be too risky to unplug their monitors and bring them to safety during air raid alerts. On New Year's Eve, doctors still delivered babies while Kiev was under heavy shelling.
Usually, when such air alarms occur, women who are giving birth cannot go down to the shelter. We stay with them, support them, both physically and morally.
We meet Alexandra and Yuri, whose daughter Solomia was born during the attack. One missile fell a few hundred meters away as Alexandra was in labor.
It's a little girl. This little princess. It was very scary because just a few minutes after I gave birth, something was hit just near. I was under some euphoria, something like that. So I wasn't so scary because I had my child. But in general, I wasn't dreaming about such day for my little girl. During the night, it was also very scary because air siren was very long, for a very long time. We've been waiting in the corridor for several hours.
Alyona also gave birth at the same time to a little boy named Lev.
I was actually in the active phase of giving birth already, and we heard these explosions. Actually nearby, absolutely nearby. I was scared, just as simple as that, I was scared. We have quite a nice conclusion of the year, I would say, like the best present for all the hard moments and for all the difficulties.
Just like Solomia, little Lev came to the world in war-torn Ukraine. But for one moment, in the quietness of this Kiev hospital, life did feel a bit more hopeful.
Our correspondent Emmanuel Shaz, who filed that report, joins us now from Kiev. Emma, some remarkable resilience on the part of those new mothers. I know you spent quite a bit of time in this maternity ward. Can you tell us a bit more about what you saw there and what the new parents were telling you?
Well, the parents at the hospital were obviously under even more stress than any other citizen trying to take shelter from the incoming missiles, from the incoming drones attacking Kiev. Imagine you're a first-time mother and you have to take into account that you might be shelled at any moment. But what really struck me at this hospital was the resilience of those parents, the inner peace that I encountered this morning when I talked to them. And if you can hear around me also the resilience of people here. I'm here in Sofia Square in the center of Kiev. And Kiev, despite having been attacked 3 times over the past 2 days with missiles, with drones, well, Kiev remains unbroken. And that's really something remarkable to witness.
Yes, of course, we've been reporting about the incredibly massive bombardment that Ukraine has been suffering at the hands of the Russian forces. Emmanuel, how are people coping? Where do they get this courage and this resilience to keep going?
I would say they don't have a choice. This is their home. They have been under attack since February, but they are here, so they have no choice but to cope with the situation. Of course, it is very scary. We're in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, whatever you're doing, whether you're sleeping or you're working, you have to run to a shelter. And to give you an idea, last night's attack involved 32 drones, kamikaze drones that were shot down over Kiev. This attack lasted 4 hours, and you know, when your sleep is constantly broken, when the threat is constantly over your head, of course you fear, of course it completely destroys your normal way of life, but people here just decide that they will, fight against that. You see around me, there are people here, it's the holidays, it's a new year, they are confident in Ukraine's victory, and this is a spirit of resistance, that they draw in order to not break.
DW's Emmanuel Shahs reporting from Kiev. Emma, thank you so much, and do stay safe.